Aloha everyone and welcome to Skincare with Hiram. If you don't know who I am, my name's Hiram and I'm passionate about teaching you how to perfect your skincare routine. So make sure you subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week. The time is coming. Summer is approaching. And I know that's hard to grasp while we're withering away indoors, but that also means it's the perfect time to get yourself set up for summer when we are allowed to go back outside, hopefully, and get yourself some good sunscreens. I feel like, Jesus, holy shit. What was that? Well, a hanging frame just randomly decided to fall on the ground, so my house is haunted. Story time, I was attacked by a ghost in the middle of filming. Anyway, now I don't even have to say this because I say it so much on my channel already, but if you are new to skincare, you must realize that the most important part of a skincare routine is sunscreen. It doesn't matter if you are doing 10 steps, toner, exfoliating, cleanser, moisturizer, serums, essences. If you aren't doing a sunscreen, none of that jack shit will matter. The most important thing is to every day make sure that you are protecting your skin from the sun, and that goes for whether you're inside or outside. But typically in summer, we're outside more of the time, so it's even more important. But I know that's not fun to hear because when I first got into skincare, I was just like, ugh, sunscreen is like not fun. When I put it on, I feel like I'm going to the beach. It smells gross. It feels heavy. I always just didn't like it until I was introduced to the world of good sunscreens. And my life was forever changed. No, for real, guys, there are some sunscreens out there that are bomb AF. So freaking good. And over the past couple months, I've been ordering a bunch of sunscreens and trying a lot of them out to see which ones I like best in order to create this video where I will be talking about the best sunscreens that I have ever found that you can use this summer. So let's get into it. As I go through all these products, all of them will be listed in the description box below. I make a small commission off of some of the links that helps to support me and my channel. So if you do feel like purchasing any of these products, I'd really appreciate if you go down and use those links, but no pressure whatsoever. Thanks, guys. Alright, so I split these into different categories, the first being mineral sunscreens. Now, when it comes to sunscreens, I have a complex relationship with them because there's USA mineral, USA chemical, Korean sunscreens, and European sunscreens. It's just really complicated. So the first category I will go in is with just mineral sunscreens. Mineral referring to any sunscreens that are formulated with only zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Zinc oxide being the ingredient that I love the most. First, and this is one I've been talking a lot about recently and I just discovered, it's the Biossance Squalane and Zinc SPF 30. This one is so freaking good for multiple reasons. First, it absorbs into the skin so nicely and it has an awesome ingredient list that actually makes this function really like a moisturizer with sunscreen. So if you are someone who has more oily skin, I would say just using this as your moisturizer and sunscreen is a great option to go with because it's formulated with that primary ingredient squalane, which is good for doing what a moisturizing oil should do, making sure your skin is hydrated and protected. But another reason I love this sunscreen is because this is the only sunscreen I can confidently say works on really dark skin tones. I was shocked the first time I swatched this on my roommates because they're both, a lot darker than my pale ass. And when I used this on both of them, I saw no white cast whatsoever. It was insane. By far the best mineral sunscreen for darker skin tones I've ever discovered, which is why I have confidence recommending it for anyone, no matter what skin tone you are. And yeah, a really good one that I've been using consistently that I love. Oh, and by the way, all the products in this video, except for one, are fragrance free. I wanted to save the best of the best for you guys. Next, and this is the most recent find that I've been so impressed with, but as soon as I started using it, I was like, this makes this list. It's the MDSolarSciences Mineral SPF 50 Cream. This took me by surprise because I was shopping on Sephora.com and I was like, let me see if they have any sunscreens that I didn't know about. And I saw that this was online only and there wasn't a ton of reviews and I was like, huh. But when I looked at the ingredient list, I was so impressed because it's fragrance free. It's formulated with 17% zinc oxide, which is very high, and it claimed to have a matte finish. So I bought it, I started using it. Oh, don't drop it. Guys, this one is so freaking good. The reason I wanted to include it in this list is that similar to the Biossance one, it has almost no white cast. I'd say it has a little bit more white cast than the Biossance one, but still, if you have a darker skin tone, but you wear makeup, this one would be fine. But I'm most impressed by the finish of this one. It literally leaves your skin looking so blurred and matte. Most sunscreen will leave kind of that shiny appearance because that's essentially how mineral sunscreens work. They basically operate like mirrors on your skin, so you're going to see some shininess from them. But this one left a completely matte finish and I was so impressed with it. And it's SPF 50, not SPF 30, which is also really hard to find with a mineral sunscreen. So overall, I think this one is great. I'm excited to keep using this one because I'd say it's the one I've used the least amount, but I'm definitely super impressed by it. And then another recent find, I know a lot of companies have been coming in clutch with their sunscreen formulas over the past few months. I've been so impressed and so grateful. It's the Weightless Liquid Mineral Sunscreen from First Aid Beauty. I really like this one because it gives the effect of like a really light tinted moisturizer. The ingredients are great. It's fragrance free. It's from First Day Beauty, one of my favorite brands out there. But when my skin is looking like a little bit extra red, I want to have a little bit of an even tone, but like a matte powdery finish, this one is really good for that. I love the experience. It feels very lightweight, but isn't like a tinted moisturizer, because a tinted moisturizer gives too much coverage. This one's just a light tone correcting sunscreen that really helps on those days you need it. Then a Korean mineral sunscreen that I love, and I actually don't have it because I finished the bottle, I recycled it, and I'm waiting for a new order to arrive. It's the Purito Water Gel SPF 50. This one blew me away the first time I used it. It is a mineral sunscreen that's SPF 50. It's formulated with only zinc oxide and it's fragrance free. But the reason I love it is because it's so lightweight on the skin. I'd have to say this one is the most lightweight out of all of them, because this one delivers hydration, this one gives a matte finish, but the Purito one is just so, it feels like this light gel on the skin. There's a little bit of white cast, but for a mineral sunscreen, very minimal. And the last time I talked about it, I was a little annoyed because they did have one fragrant ingredient in it. I learned that since they've actually removed that ingredient from the formula, so it's completely fragrance free. It's just so good. Now, of course, as I go into this, I'm not going to be talking about USA chemical sunscreens. If you want to know why, I will link a video talking about why I'm personally not a fan of USA chemical sunscreens, but essentially I find the ingredients to be too potentially irritating to the skin. And with Korean sunscreens and USA mineral sunscreens, I just think there's so many other better options out there that it just doesn't make USA chemical sunscreens worth it. And when I say USA chemical sunscreens, I refer to ingredients like Oxybenzone, Avobenzone, Octocrylene, Octinoxate, any of those USA sunscreen ingredients that aren't zinc oxide or titanium dioxide. Now, the next category is drugstore, which I will say I will be releasing the best drugstore sunscreens video very soon, so I'm not going to delve really deep into this topic, but I will tell you guys one of my favorites from the drugstore, and it's the CeraVe Mineral SPF 30. Now, this one is for the body. The reason why I'm showing you this, so you guys can see what it looks like, because I've recommended this sunscreen in the past, the Face SPF 30, and people get it mixed up with the SPF 50, which in my opinion does not perform anywhere near as good as the SPF 31. So it looks like this, but smaller, just so you guys can see the jumbo version of how it looks. It's one of the best sunscreens I found from the drugstore because it's fragrance free. It's of course CeraVe, so they have really high quality ingredients. It leaves some white cast, that is the downside, and that's honestly the struggle I found with nearly every single drugstore sunscreen out there. They just leave such heavy white casts on the skin. I will be honest guys, finding good sunscreens at the drugstore is a tough trip and very boring in comparison to all the other amazing formulas that you can find online. But if you only have access to drugstore, I would say CeraVe SPF 30 is the best one to go with. Now, moving on to Korean chemical sunscreens. In Korea, they use a lot of innovative UV filters that are actually way less sensitizing than USA chemical sunscreens and just so much better at protecting the face. And there's two that I love. First, the Klairs Soft Airy UV Essence. I've loved this one for so long. I think this is the second bottle that I've gone through. Not only is it a good size, but the reason I love it so much is that it's so good for oily skin because it just absorbs into the skin like that. It feels like nothing. It's one of the fastest absorbing sunscreens I've ever used. It definitely has like a watery gel feel. The only thing I don't like about it is that it does have some fragrance in it, but this is one of those products where I'm like, the results are so good and the protection that you're getting is so good that I justify it. If you guys have watched any of my videos talking about Korean skincare or sunscreen in the past, you'll know this one. I talk about it all the time, but yeah, super good. And then if you have more dry skin, I would recommend the Krave Beauty Beet Shield. This one, even though it is a little bit confusing because it doesn't say SPF on the outside if you're in the USA, it actually is an SPF 50 sunscreen, so you're getting the highest protection. I love this one because it's also pretty lightweight. The only reason I recommend it for dry skin is because it definitely does give you this glow. So if you're someone who really likes the glow, I would recommend this. I personally don't like it for my skin type the majority of the time because it's just a little bit too much for my oily skin, but a really good fragrance-free sunscreen that's very highly rated. I recommend it. Now I have one recommendation for if you have really sensitive skin. I know a lot of people talk about how any type of sunscreen they ever try to use, they always have a reaction, nothing seems to work, and I do have one recommendation for you. It's the Neutrogena Sheer Zinc SPF 50 Mineral Sunscreen. This one I've used in the past. I don't use anymore because it's not my favorite sunscreen experience, but it's a bare bones basic sunscreen that does what it's supposed to do without overly irritating the skin. It's formulated with 21% zinc oxide, which is the best ingredient for sun protection, a very minimal ingredient list, fragrance free, and formulated without irritating ingredients. It's one that I recommend for anyone who really is struggling. The only downside is that the white cast is severe. severe. But if you're someone who wears a good amount of makeup, I'd say this is a great one to go as a base. It's just the best option I found for anyone out there who has really sensitive skin. Finally, the best sunscreen overall, my personal favorite. If you've watched most of my videos, you probably know what this product is because I won't fucking shut up about it. It's the Centella Unscented SPF 50 sunscreen from Purito. This one, I just keep going back to over and over and over again. It was funny, the first time I tried it, I was like, oh, you know what, it's pretty good, but like not amazing. And then I left it to the side for a little while. I started using it again, and that's when I was like, oh bitch, this is so good. I love this one because it's hydrating, but it does not feel heavy on the skin overall. It makes your skin feel really moisturized and hydrated, but it doesn't leave a greasy, heavy feeling on top of the skin. It gives this blurring, smoothing effect to your skin that every time I use this, I'm just like, wow, my skin looks poppin' today. You know, it just kind of gives the skin like that oomph. It doesn't look like blurring like a primer, but it just makes your skin look so healthy and happy. This is a product that I feel is like the epitome of like a high quality sunscreen. When you use it and you're like, wow, I've never used anything like this before in my life, and I will never go to any others. Well, I will, because I love experimenting, but I always feel confident recommending this to people because I know that as soon as they start using it, they're just going to fall in love with it. Final reason I love it is because it's one of those sunscreens that you just forget is there, which is the ultimate goal, in my opinion, for a sunscreen formula. We're so used to it feeling heavy, a thick layer on the skin, and this is one of those when you apply it, you completely forget it's there. It feels like nothing, and it has one of my favorite ingredients, Centella Asiatica, which is good for reducing redness and sensitivity. Overall, just a great product. And my top favorite pick thus far. Whew, that was actually so much fun. You guys have no idea how long I've wanted to talk about these sunscreens because I've just had so much fun experimenting and finding the best of the best, and I can confidently say that I'm at a point now to where I will never go back to the old sunscreens that I used to use, where I used to hate the feeling, because with this selection, I will just always be happy because they're that freaking good. What do you guys think of this list? Do you have any other recommendations? Let me know in the description box below. I would love to hear your thoughts. Do you like some of my recommendations, or do you know other good Korean or mineral sunscreens out there? Leave them below. I want to find new ones to try out. Like I said before, if you are interested in purchasing any of these products, feel free to use the links in the description box below. And if you haven't already, be sure to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so that you can see my videos every single week, and I'll see you guys in the next video.